as an entrepreneur, like you said, you were about to say, I don't really have a lot of friends that understand. You're never going to be understood, bro, because you're operating in a space that is reserved for legitimately, statistically 1% of the people. So if you're going down a path of 1%, it's a unreasonable expectation to expect that the 99% is going to understand why you're doing what you're doing. Kobe Bryant talked about this a lot, dude. He was like, look, man, I don't want to be around them. I don't want them to understand me. I don't want to understand them. And I'm going to continue to do what I do. And that's how you produce greatness, bro. What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society. And welcome to reality. Guys, today we have Q&AF. That's where you submit the questions, and we give you the answers. DJ, how can they submit their questions?
You guys can submit your questions a few different ways. The first way is email us at askandy@andyfrisella.com. The second way is you can drop those questions in the comments on the Q&AF episodes on YouTube, or check the link in the description below and submit your questions for a chance to be called upon.
Call in right on the show and talk to us.
That's right.
All right. If this is your first time joining us, which we always have new listeners, we have shows within the show, okay? Today we're going to have Q&AF. Tomorrow we're going to have CTI. That stands for Cruise the Internet. That's where we put topics of the day up on the screen. We speculate, we laugh, we talk about what's going on, and then we talk about how we, the people, have to solve these problems going on in the world. All right? Other times we have real talk. That's just 5 to 20 minutes of me giving you guys some real talk. And then we have what's called 75 Hard Verses. That's where people who have completed the 75 Hard program come on the show. They talk about how they were before, how they are now, and how they use the 75 Hard program to become who they are today. If you're unfamiliar with 75 Hard, it is the initial phase of the Live Hard program, which is the world's most famous mental toughness program ever. And it's available for free. You can get it at episode 208 on the audio feed only. Again, that's 208 on the audio feed only. We weren't on YouTube at that time. There's also a book. It's not free. You can get it at andyfrisella.com. It's called The Book on Mental Toughness. It has the entire Live Hard program, plus a whole bunch of other information on mental toughness, how to cultivate it, and how to use it to become the ultimate version of yourself. With that being said, we do have a fee. The fee is very simple. Share the show, all right? We put a lot of time and effort into helping you guys, and this isn't our full-time job. I actually have a day job.
Same.
And so yeah, you do. And so we ask very simply, man, that if the show makes you think, if it makes you laugh, it gives you new perspective, if it's something that you get some value out of, do us a favor and don't be a hoe.
Share the show.
All right. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
Big week.
Big day.
Big day, big week.
Yeah, big days ahead of us.
Big days. Dollar days
Mm-hmm.
at 7-Eleven. Okay? Normally, we don't talk about or run ads on the show, but I am going to ask you guys very simply for something this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. If you drink Form Energy, I would like you to go to your local 7-Eleven this week, buy one, and then buy another one. They're only $1.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like you to give that out. All right? Buy one for yourself, buy one for your homie. And if you could do that every day this week, we greatly appreciate it.
Buy one, give one.
Buy one, give one. All right? 7-Eleven, dollar days. Get yourself some of this amazing Form Energy. We got Orange Fury, Screaming Freedom, Blue Blitz. And what's the other one there, DJ?
Oh, Grape Smash, man.
Yeah. How come you got all the grapes and I got all the flavors?
Well, I was gonna do my little pitch too. I was gonna say, if you're used to stealing these,
they're only $1
this week, and so don't steal. Just
But guys, real talk, dude. Uh-huh. You guys are always asking how to support and how to give back to us. If you could hit 7-Eleven every day this week and buy some Form Energy, that'd be a big deal for us.
Big deal, man.
So
big deal. Dollar days.
Dollar days. I could do that. Do it again.
Dollar days.
Who could do it better? You do your best.
Okay. Oh, shit. Monday. Dollar days. That's pretty good.
That was all right. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Dollar day.
Okay. Well, how do you get the sound effects?
Because it's my show. All right. So, but this does last all this week until the 22nd. So, throw us a couple bones, man.
That's right.
It's not like we're not giving you anything back. You're going to feel good.
That's right.
You're going to look sexy.
Might get a new bike.
Everybody looks sexy with a Form Energy can, right? I mean, look at this. Look at before, after.
That's right.
Look at that. So, for real, guys, though, we appreciate you. And if you guys could find a way to support us for that, that'd be awesome.
That'd be great, man. This was an ad.
Yeah, that was an ad. And also, make sure you're tagging me, dude. Like, when you post it, tag me in it, man. I don't see them all, but I try to repost the ones I do see. So, give us a little post with the one you're going to drink and the one you're going to give away, and tag 7-Eleven and Form Energy and myself, and we'll rock and roll. So
you guys can tag me too. I'm only going to reshare the purple one though.
All right. Don't we got a show to do?
We do got a show to do.
Right.
We got some really good ones for you today, bro. It's Monday, guys. Let's get better today.
Yeah, let's just get into it, man.
Let's do it. Question number 1. We got a call in.
All right.
We got Gabriel.
Gabriel.
We're going to give Gabriel a call. Here we go.
Hello, this is Gabriel.
Gabriel, what's up, dude?
What's up, DJ?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. Just wrapping up a presentation for a client.
Oh, fancy.
Perfect timing.
Well, hopefully we wasn't supposed to call you before that. My bad. What's going on with you, though, man?
You're fine.
What's up, Gabriel? How you doing, bro?
Good. How are you, Andy?
I'm real good, man. Where are you calling from?
Plainfield, Illinois.
All right. Not too far away.
I've never heard of that.
Yep.
Well, it's in Illinois. It can't be that far.
It's true.
We're in Missouri.
Yeah.
So,
It's like an hour south of Chicago.
Yeah. So what do you do up there, bro?
So right now I help businesses lower their risk, so like their claims costs, and keep their employees safe as a safety consultant.
Okay, cool. So like OSHA, but private?
Yeah, so I'll get clients prepared. I'll do like mock OSHA audits. That way they don't get surprised with OSHA citations, things like that.
Cool. Well, stay the away from my place. All right. So what can we help you with, brother?
Yeah, so to keep it short and simple, my end goal or my dream job was to be where I'm at now. So about a year and a half ago, I put together a 1, 5, 10-year plan of how I was going to get here. And about like a year and a half in, actually this past June, I ended up getting this job. And I'm kind of sitting here, wondering what I could do to keep my edge, keep the momentum going, and most of all, not be complacent. Because, I've heard on your show before, I don't want to be a victim of the bell curve, and I want to get ahead of that.
There you go. So that's your main concern?
Yeah, just pretty much where to go from here, since I already achieved what I thought would take me 10 years to get.
Well, I'd say that's a huge win. First of all, that's awesome. How old are you?
Thank you. 27.
Okay. And all right. Do you want to stay in this position? Like, do you see yourself in this position for life, or are you starting to realize, okay, I'm 27. This was my dream job, but now I understand I can go to bigger places, or are you just trying to maintain your sharpness in this role?
So I've always had this thing in my mind that I wanted to eventually start my own consulting business. But it wasn't like I wasn't taking it seriously. But now that I'm in here, it's starting to grow on me that, hey, this could be a platform that I get all the experience and, understand how client work is, and then move on to that. But I'm honestly not too sure. I mean, I guess I'm scared. I'm scared to take that step. I know I need the experience and all that, but I'm scared to figure out what it takes to get into actual consulting by myself, making it my own thing.
Okay. Well, I would tell you this, bro. First of all, everybody's scared. It's scary to do anything new. It's scary to push and expand and do things that are beyond what we're currently doing. And that's not exclusive to you. That's something that we all struggle with. And anybody who says that they don't is lying. So there's nothing wrong with you for feeling that way. That's perfectly normal. I get nervous. I get scared when I do new things. But after doing things for 27 years, I realized that for us to get where we want to go, I'm going to have to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. And you're a young man. You've achieved a very great level of success at this point in time for the dream that the 20-year-old or the 25-year-old version of you may have had. And so what I would consider for you to think about is that you need to think about, okay, you're going to be alive for a long time. You're learning a valuable skill. And where do I want to take that skill from here? And I think you are seeing it very, very, very honestly for where you're at, which is, all right, I've achieved this. I'm learning this. And maybe this wasn't as big of a goal as I thought it was. And to hit your dream job at 27 years old, if you stay where you are and you stay exactly where you are, you will get tired of that. It will become routine, and ultimately you will be unfulfilled. Okay. So that's something you have to understand, because if we as humans, and it doesn't matter if you are a highly driven human, I'm assuming that you are because you listen to this show, or if you're a normal, everyday person, when we get into the situation of repetitive nature, and comfort, we end up losing the edge, which is, I think, a very real concern and a valid concern for you. So in the meantime, I would do two things. One, I would spend the time outside of your current role working to expand that ideal vision of where you see yourself. And people tend to expand their visions based upon what they've experienced and seen through their own eyes. And because a lot of people haven't seen massive success or seen someone go from A to B to C to all the way where they want to go personally, meaning your friend, your family, your neighbor, somebody that you're connected to, it becomes hard for us to really expand that vision and realize that we are capable of doing these big things. And so I want you to understand that no matter what it is that you've seen or visualized or observed or witnessed in your life, you, Gabriel, are capable of doing the things that you want to do, no matter how big they are. And we tend to, when we dream about what it is we want to do, we tend to form those dreams based upon the things that we've observed in the past, which is sort of like trying to drive a car through the rearview mirror. We can't judge our future based upon our past or our past accomplishments. And so what I would like you to do, and what I think you should do, is take some real time and say, okay, here's the path I'm on. This is the ultimate outcome, no matter how big it could be. Where could I take this? What would make me the most happy? Where would I feel the most fulfilled? And where would I be if I had no limits? If I could snap my fingers today and say, this is where I'd like to be, what would that look like? And if you have trouble seeing that, what's usually happening is you're starting to think, is this realistic, or is this possible, or can I do this? And you have to throw all that shit out the window, bro. And you have to say, okay, I have these skills, I have this interest, this is what I'm learning here, and this is where it could take me if Andy the genie shows up and says, Gabriel, I'll put you anywhere you want to go. Anywhere you want to go, I'll put you. What would that be? Okay, and then decide what that is and start working back to what that would look like. And dude, this shouldn't be like a 2-year goal. This should be like, where do you want to be when you're 45? All right. And then we work that backwards to today, and then we start working forwards towards that. And people, generally understand that, but a lot of people don't. And where a lot of people make this mistake, bro, is they just, like I said, they dream in a way that's limited based upon their perception of what's possible. And that perception of what's possible is never in line with the reality of what's possible, because you, especially as a young man, especially as with someone who's made some really good progress and learning some very valuable skills, your potential is expanding at all times, brother. You know, what is available to you today is much more than what was available to you a year and a half ago when you started to go down this path. So that would be the first thing, dude. Spend some real time saying, where would I really like to be? What would I really like my life to look like? What would I really, and this, by the way, this isn't just financially. This is, what would you like for your family? What would you like for, do you have a family? Are you married? Do you have kids?
I do not.
Okay. One day you probably will, right?
Right.
Okay. I mean, is that something that you plan on doing?
That's something I eventually want to achieve.
So let's expand the vision to include those areas of your life too. What kind of lifestyle do you want for your future family? What kind of lifestyle do you want for your wife? What do you want to do? Do you want to be available to go to all their baseball practices and all their sports tournaments and their chess matches or whatever it is they're into? And what kind of lifestyle do I need to have for that to be possible? And you need to start thinking about that now before you have those things, not after, right? Because when you start to have those things, your obligations change, your financial limitations change, right? It forces us to make decisions based upon those attachments and those obligations that maybe would not fit our ultimate dream. And so you're in a very good position, bro. You're free, you're moving. I really want you to think big, dude. Really big. And if you can think big and set that dream into place, the other problem that you called about will take care of itself. You won't lose your edge. You won't get complacent. You'll continue to chase things and you'll continue to improve. And where most people really fall off, dude, is they get in a position to where you really are right now, which is in a place they want to be, and they sort of rot away there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they get comfortable.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And no matter how passionate you are. I mean, we see this with pro athletes, right? Like pro athletes, they work their whole lives to become, let's say in the NFL. And then they're in the NFL for 3-4 years and they get used to being in the NFL. And so they stop training the way that they would have had to train to make it. They stop executing the way and practice the way they had to get where they want to go. And eventually that catches up and they get replaced by someone who is doing those things. And when you have a big enough goal, let's say the NFL went on for 30 years and you had a career that was 30 years long. Those guys who are washing out would not be washing out because they would understand, okay, there's a much bigger position here. There's a much bigger play. Like, let's take, for example, let's say you could play in the NFL for 30 years and then at the end of your career, you could own the team. And let's just say that was a real thing. These players that we see washing out wouldn't wash out because they would not gain the comfort to do that. So we have to translate that mentality into our lives, which is we set a big enough goal that keeps us sharp, keeps us hungry, keeps us aggressive, and then we continue to work on it. And then it keeps us sharp on our day-to-day tasks because we understand that these are the things that are going to lead to that thing. So I really think to solve your problem, brother, we just have to make a bigger goal. And then that goal will naturally keep you sharp. You're already an achiever. You're already someone who's executing. You've already proven that. We just got to have a longer target and a bigger target for you to stay sharp and continue to improve. Does that make sense for you?
That does.
Yeah.
It does.
And bro, listen, don't doubt yourself. Don't think like when I said, hey, what do you want to do? And you said, well, maybe this could work. No, dude, you're way ahead. You're 27. 27 is so young in a professional career. Remember, traditional professional careers last till they're 65. Like you haven't even started, dude. You haven't even started. And the upward potential for you right now, not having these attachments and not having these financial obligations are massive. And there's been so many people, bro, that are less intelligent than you, that are working not as hard as you, that have made it and that are not as qualified as you. And you're in a good position, bro. Just don't think because your friends or your family or your parents or whatever you've observed as your limitations. Certain people are born to break those limitations, and you're one of them. And I can tell you that because you're aware of it already. The awareness it takes to ask the question you're asking shows me that your mind is in the right place. So I just want you to understand, dude, all these people who have done all this shit that you want to do, they're all just regular people, bro. Just like you, just like me. And I would hate for you or anybody to limit themselves based upon thinking like, well, I'm not qualified, or maybe I could do this, or maybe. No, you're the mother that should be doing it. It's you. So I just want to leave you with that, bro. And I want you to remember that.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah, the past couple of months I've been, sitting here saying to myself, maybe it's the bitch voice saying, hey, maybe you're an intrapreneur, not an entrepreneur, but
well,
this conversation right now I think is.
Brother, we all go through that. We all go through that shit, man. We all go through it. I go through it. I've been doing this 27 years on January 1st. I go through this every day. It's a mental battle every day. So you got what it takes, dude. Just go out and execute it, bro. I promise you. I promise you, dude. I promise you.
Love it, man.
All right, brother.
Love it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, Gabriel.
Appreciate you, bro.
Take care, bro.
All right. Take care, guys. Thanks.
You too.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I feel like most people, because I know you've mentioned before, right? You set a goal so big, and the reality is you'll probably hit like 90% of it, right? And so I feel like it's very rare, if you will, that most people set that goal, they hit it, and they're like, what now?
Real people who really achieve things, they never actually like hit their goal.
Yeah.
And then like celebrate, right? Like they're raising the bar before they get to the bar. And that's what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
He's
trying to work through that.
Gabriel's just so young that like he doesn't have the perspective that I would have.
Yeah.
And he's going through everything that a young entrepreneur, a young achiever would go through, doubting themselves, wondering if, can I really do this? Is this for me? I mean, fuck, dude, if you had asked me legitimately, when I was just starting out, if I'd be here, I'd be like, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It would sound just like Gabriel.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
And it actually, it's very refreshing for me to hear that, because it reminds me of how I felt, and I see the direction I've gone and where I'm going. Because like, look, dude, you guys got to understand, I'm in this with you, bro. I'm not talking to you guys from a position of I've made it. I know for a lot of you guys, you see my lifestyle and you see the companies and you see all these things, but remember, I've got much bigger goals too. And I'm constantly expanding my goals, because the times when I've been the most miserable in life have been when I've been stagnant about what I'm trying to achieve. So it's very important for entrepreneurial minded people to continue to expand, continue to understand that, or at least learn that the game that we play as entrepreneurs, it is a long game, and it is a very rewarding game. And we can't just judge it upon, are we making this much money? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? I mean, guys, and I say this, I haven't taken a paycheck from First Form for years, not because I can't, but because I don't want to. And I enjoy coming in here and being around the team and growing, and real talk, like I pay to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand there's a lot of value to pursuing these big dreams, not just for the financial aspect, but for the quality of your life. One of the most favorite things, if not the most favorite thing for me to do, is to come in here and see everybody. You know what I mean? That's not like people are like, well, why don't you just sell the company and go live on a boat? And sometimes, you know what? I do want to do that.
It's a nice thought. But
I can't imagine not having a place to come into with my friends and build and create and do cool shit. And I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of value to those things that people don't ever consider, right? And we have to consider those you'll learn that when you go through the process, but this is a long game. Anybody can play it if they're willing to pay the price and dedicate their lives to it. And I think where we run into a problem with entrepreneurship is, like we talk about consistently on the show, is we have a lot of people that don't really understand the cost or the price or what it actually takes. And then they kind of half step their toe into it. Well, that's no different than saying like, you're going to walk on the court with LeBron James and be like, I'm going to try basketball. Like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You have to commit and you have to say, this is what I'm doing. This is who I'm going to be. This is what I'm creating. And nobody's going to stop me from doing that.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, let's do, we got another question here. Guys, Andy, question number 2. Hey, Andy, I am a multi-unit manager for the last 5+ years for one of the largest sandwich brands on the planet. And also have 3 years of sales experience with professional sport franchises. In my current role, I'm at the peak of pay and responsibility, which I'm very proud of, but cannot progress any further. With that being said, I've applied to at least 250 jobs, securing just 3 interviews. What's your take on the current labor market? With 7+ years of combined sales and management experience, I thought I would get more traction. I have written non-chat GPT cover letters, tweaked my resume, tried networking, etc. Any advice?
Yeah. Number one, if you were that good, people would know who the fuck you are. Okay. So you're probably not as good as you think you are, because if you were that good, people would already recognize it. And this is what we talk about when we talk about becoming undeniable. Okay. Executing above everybody else in your system, that's not undeniable. Undeniable is, holy shit, dude, we better figure out how to keep this. He's going to go over there. Okay. So like in the sandwich franchise that you're operating, you should be so good that they are afraid that you'll go work for the other sandwich guy and blow their shit up.
Right.
And that's where you become undeniable. So our understanding of undeniable has to be properly calibrated. With that being said, okay, there's a lot of uncertainty right now in terms of what's going on with AI, in terms of how companies are going to adapt. And a lot of companies are either on a hiring freeze or they're laying people off because they're optimizing their administration work and their easy shit with AI, which is something that I warned everybody about many, many, many years ago, which we didn't stop. So it is what it is at this point. So yeah, the market's a little tricky, and that comes from not direct, it comes from the anticipation of what could be happening with AI. So we see a lot of companies moving to eliminate a lot of administration. You know, big companies are laying off thousands of jobs because they are figuring out that, okay, well, we don't need someone to make lists or do this anymore, or, you know, some cases even answer the phone. That's not how I believe, but that's what they believe. So you could be applying to majorly corporate companies that are either on a hiring freeze or recalibrating their systems. And regardless of all of that, if you were undeniable, they would still hire you. So the ultimate answer to this question for anybody listening to protect themselves in the new AI era is, 1, be undeniable at what you do. Number 2, be very well versed in AI and how to use it at your job, not to make it easier, but to make the results better. Okay, those 2 things will make a massive difference for anyone trying to protect their career and continue to grow inside this new AI revolution that is, we are, you know, just at the beginning of. With that being said, it's going to get harder before it gets easier. This is an adjustment. So if I were you, I would start, 1, to make sure that you are moving towards that undeniable space at what you do, because that's going to benefit you whether you stay there or go anywhere else. Number 2, you say, I'm at the top of my pay. That's always negotiable because it depends on what the value of the person is, right? If there's a traditional pay scale and someone is so incredibly valuable to the organization that the organization cannot really operate without them, that pay scale becomes irrelevant. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So
you're the reason it gets reset.
Yes, that's right. So that could be a conversation that you could have with your leadership, but it can only be had when you're undeniable, because if you're pretty good, they're going to say, well, this is how it goes. These guys get to this point and they kind of wash out. But if you're really good, like really, really good, they're going to find a place for you. So that's my take on that. The question was about the market. I think the market's uncertain. I think companies are trying to figure it out. I think a lot of companies are doing, what other companies are doing. I think there's a lack of innovative thinking because everybody's using AI the same way. And I think there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. I think that's what you're dealing with. And I think it's going to be very hard. Like if you're in a position right now where you're with a good company who's trying to grow, who's trying to win, who's moving the right way, you should really value that opportunity and work to become the best, most valuable, undeniable piece of that machine that you could possibly be, because that's going to be the biggest insurance against what could happen with AI. And then again, like I said, you're going to want to learn those skills too, so that, you understand how to operate with the new technology. When the internet came around, dude, a lot of companies failed because they didn't adapt. They said, well, why the f do we need the internet? We got catalogs. When the car
There's magazines here.
Yeah, right. When the car came around, there was people that were like, well, why do I need a car? I got horses, right? So like, we have to understand we're in one of those phases right now, and we can like it or dislike it, but this show is called Real AF. It's about reality. It's about what is, not what should be. And yes, we've talked a lot about what should be, but that's not what is. So we have to operate in the what is. And what it is it's a very pivotal time where people need to be really, really concerned about the quality of work that they're doing. And they have to realize that nobody is immune to this. And it doesn't matter if you're a contractor or a plumber or any of these things, because even those things will be swallowed up by AI in the next 5 years.
Yeah. Okay.
There's going to be robots with AI that they put into a house that just go to work. There's already AI robots that lay shingles on a roof. I hear people say, well, blue collar jobs are safe. They're not. And you guys have to be real about this. And
everything's going to be impacted.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we have to think consistently and pay attention consistently, because if you are the guy who says, well, I'm going to be good, you're going to be the guy with the horse when everybody else is driving cars. Mm-hmm. So, we have to have awareness. We have to be agile right now to move this and that with what's going on, and, be the best that we can, so that, we have the greatest insurance against us being cut out.
Yeah, 100%. One thing I want to hit on too quickly with you, Ro, because I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like there's a little bit of this in this question, but just limiting mindset. And like, the moment you feel like you're tapped out and maxed out, your initial thought is to just jump ship and go apply to 250 other places. You know what I'm saying? Like, where is the fight mentality?
That's you got to understand, dude. That is the mentality that most people are brought up with.
Yeah.
Okay. Most people don't have people around them giving them really strong advice or even believing in them to move past where they are. Remember, those people aren't able to move past where they are.
Yeah.
So for them to say that you can move past where you are, they're effectively telling themselves, I'm not as good as that guy, which they aren't. But they don't feel like that. Like, that's a hard thing to say to someone.
Yeah.
So, you can't expect someone to think and observe differently than what they've already experienced through their own eyes. It's a very hard thing for people to wrap themselves around, because it's our ego, right? This is the way it is. I did this. You're my son. You're going to do this. I made $100,000 a year. That's the most you're going to make for people like us, right? Like, these are the limited mindsets that are passed down from person to person to person through a generational chain that have to be broken. Okay. And unfortunately, parents are usually the biggest source of this. Parents will raise their kids and tell them they can be anything they want. They will encourage them to do new things. They will encourage them to have skills. But when the child starts to surpass where that parent was, a lot of times it's no different than someone that is not your parent, and then your parent starts to get jealous and they start to get, restrictive, and they start to plant these seeds. And that's very hard to get around, because you trust them, and then they're telling you, you need to relax, or you need to do this, or are you really sure you should do this? And those are the most damaging doubts that we can face. And that's why we see through generations, this chain of mediocrity is rarely broken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
So it sucks too, because there's so many gifts and so many businesses and so many products and so many cures and so many amazing things that would benefit people that are lost because the person who was supposed to create those things is told by people that they love, care about, are in proximity to, that they shouldn't be doing them, or that it's not for them, or that success is for other people. And that comes in the form of parents, teachers, guidance counselors, people that are trusted to put these ideas into our head and encourage us to be good. And because they weren't able to do those things, they fail at their obligation to really push people to be better. And, that's the way it goes. It's not the way it should be, but that's the way it is. And if you're one of these people who's ambitious, driven, hungry person who wants more for themselves, you have to break away from those people, because they will keep you exactly where you are your whole life. And if you get bigger, they'll shame you for it. So you have to separate. And it's an uncomfortable reality, man.
100%, man. 100%. Well, guys, let's keep moving on to the question. We're going to get Armando. We're going to give him a call, see what he's got going on. Hello?
Hey, what's up, DJ?
Armando, what's going on, bro?
Nothing much, man. Just rocking and rolling, brother.
I got you. Where you calling from?
I'm calling in from Dallas, Texas.
Ooh. I've never been to Dallas. I've heard it's a good place to go, though.
Oh yeah, 100%, brother.
All right. Well, I got the big dog here.
What's up, brother?
Hey. What's up, Andy? How are you, bro?
I'm doing good, bro. How are you?
I'm doing amazing by God's grace, brother.
There you go. I think we all are. So,
amen.
What do you do down there?
So kind of a long story short, brother, my wife and I, I'm a real estate broker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 29 years old. And basically I broker out, I work with some of the top developers and builders in this area to help them sell their product lines.
Mm-hmm.
We also help clients build out their dream homes from architecture, design. We're pretty, I guess, big on social, Nava Realty Group. And, we've been doing social media for a couple of years now, and we kind of just get families from all across the nation, and we help them build their homes out here in the Dallas area.
That's awesome, man. You like it?
Yeah, man, I freaking love it. It's definitely, I was in the Marine Corps before, and, that was back from 2015 to 2019. And, this is, I tell everybody, especially, with the way the Marine Corps, just is work ethic. It's applying yourself and serving families. I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. So what can we help you with, brother?
Okay, man. Well, just to kind of give you, I don't know how much time I have, brother, but
you
I want to be respectful.
You got whatever you need, bro. I'm here to help.
Okay, gotcha. Well, first and foremost, I completely respect what you guys do. Andy, I've been listening to you ever since I was in the Marine Corps, since 2017.
That's awesome.
And so just a long story short, man, 2015, I shipped out to MCRD San Diego. I did, obviously boot camp, all that good stuff. And I got out of the Marines, but I was in the Marine Corps. I went out to the fleet. I got sent over to Japan. And basically what I started to do was document my life in the Marines. And I used to have a huge YouTube channel called Nava the Beast, which maybe some of your listeners might know it, but it was a completely different alter ego of where I am today. I'm a family man now. I have a daughter, and, I'm a big time Christian and love the Lord. But that being said, within that time span, I leveraged social media to really build up kind of the first ever military influencer on YouTube and Instagram, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grew it to about 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. It was really awesome. But back then I was in my younger 20s. So I definitely had had to get humbled many times, had a huge ego, and especially with all those followers and fame. I mean, I was, it was just not a good trajectory that I was headed to.
Mm-hmm.
But then 2019, I had a basically a decision whether, the Marine Corps was like, hey, you could stay in, you can keep helping us with the recruiting efforts. You can, live it up. I mean, I was living a really amazing life in the Marines, and I was traveling all over the world. And but I met my wife 3 months before I left the service, and so I kind of was like, you know what? No, I think I'm gonna get out. And a lot of people in the Marines were just like, no, dude, this is man, it's like given. I mean, this is a great path to go into. And I said, no, man. I mean, I want to get to the civilian sector. I want to get back, and I want to see what I can do and make of myself. Because the biggest thing is, a lot of military members, it's hard for them to really transition back into civilian sector. And so I got out of the Marines, man. I basically left New York, went out to Texas, packed up all my stuff with my wife. I took her out of Tampa, and I said, hey, let's move in with my brother, and let's figure this thing out and see where it takes us. Well, long story short, man, it was a really bad decision. Well, not now, because I mean, we're blessed now, but at the time it was like the worst decision, because I basically lost all my subscribers. They were all just turning against me, like, dude, we wish you were back in the uniform. And they had just built up that, obviously that idol, like, I guess, right? And so I started from ground zero, brother. I was like, well, dude, I went through almost a year of depression, suicidal. I mean, military transitioning back to the civilian sector, it's kind of like a 180.
Yeah.
And, got into alcohol, did all that stuff, got overweight. But, by God's grace, my beautiful wife kind of, she really stood by my side and just supported me throughout that transition. And this is where I came to know the Lord, because, I was trying to find myself outside of the uniform, and my wife would pray for me, and she would just say, hey, babe, let's go to church. And I would say, no, I'm not going to go to church. I'm not going to go, I didn't believe any of that mumbo jumbo. I was like, that's whole, that's a sham and blah, blah. But she kept praying for me. She stood by my side. She showed me the love of Christ. And eventually, after a year straight, I was like, let me look into this stuff. Let me go to church. And thankfully, by God's grace, man, I came to know the Lord, and, I got saved around 2020, and then changed my life, got my real estate license. I started to basically sell apartments for the first year, kind of got to the nitty gritty. I was selling apartments nonstop, and basically I became the top agent in my firm, at the firm that I was working at before. And I was crushing it, man. I was like probably selling $60,000, $70,000 in apartments a month. And I was living the high life. I mean, I bought the cars, I bought my wife everything, but I was never home because I was working so much. And then 2021 is when we're like, you know what, babe, I want to start working with families. I want to get into residential. That's where the big leagues are at. And so we started Nava Realty Group, which is a social media page where we basically share different projects, different developments, but we also share the good news, John 3:16 and all that good stuff. And so really, it was kind of a really weird niche, because people have never seen like faith and real estate combined together. And so the platform blew up, brother, by God's grace. So God basically restored everything that I had lost and gave me a double or triple portion. And so from 2021 to 2025 now, we've been building, selling homes. By God's grace, now I'm 29. I've sold over, $130 million in properties. I am now a broker, so I have my own firm now. And kind of going now to my question, obviously now I have a daughter, which she's 1 month old. She's a newborn.
Hey, congrats, man. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, so it's such a blessing. Her name is Shalom, which is actually the way I introduce all my videos. I say Shalom, family. So her name's Shalom Nava, and she's been a blessing, brother. But all right, so now to the question of the day. So obviously I'm in real estate, and I do really good for myself, brother. I'm super blessed, and I work with a lot of families. But obviously it is a lot of time consuming. And now that I'm approaching my 30s, I definitely want to slowly start to figure out a way where I can transition. And so my wife and I, we started a construction company in my hometown in McAllen, Texas, where I was born and raised. It's kind of near the border. And so I kind of took a lot of the knowledge that I've learned from a lot of builders the last 7 years, and, kind of want to really revolutionize the way home buyers build and buy their homes. And so the question is, obviously coming from real estate, we get fast, pretty much like commissions come in pretty fast by God's grace. But I guess, how do I stay patient during the building process? The fact that I'm in construction and been selling homes for 7 years. How do I stay patient trying to build that up when I guess that's kind of the crossroad I'm in, is like, man, this is taking so much time to even see like a return, because now we're on year number 2 and we're barely starting our second house that we're about to sell in about a week. We're going to put it on the market, but it's so much slower to build that up versus where I'm at with real estate. Everything's so fast paced. So I guess, how do you stay patient with that? Because I know that's something I really like, man. It's like a feeling that's external. Like, I could continue to be in real estate and be a broker and do really good for myself and have a great life. But something inside of me has just been craving to do my own homes, my own products, because I know what consumers like. I know that they like open, high ceilings, lots of windows, big kitchens. So that's what I'm really bringing to my products. But it takes a lot longer to build that. And so I guess, how do you stay patient during that build process, brother?
Oh, man. Well, first off, your journey is awesome, dude. And it's a tremendous testimonial, I think, even to your old followers from your old page, seeing, the evolvement of a human being. And we all on social media as humans evolve, right? I just want to give you some props on that, dude. A lot of people will never evolve because they feel like they're going to lose something or that people aren't going to approve of that. And I give you a lot of credit for standing with your integrity and what you felt is the right thing for you to do, regardless of what you may have lost, quote unquote, with your original success. That's very hard for people to do. And what it tells me is that you are a very strong human being that is willing to make the changes that are needed when they're needed. And not everybody can do that. So before we even get into the answer of the question, recognize that that's a tremendous asset that you have, and give yourself a lot of credit for that, dude, because most people cannot do that. They will become a slave to the audience and they will be miserable because of it. And so I think that's really awesome, dude. Just being real. Secondly, to the question of patience, we have to understand that when we start anything new, even if it's parallel, it's going to require a learning curve and it's going to require time. You selling apartments and you doing real estate and building, even though related, are two different things. And depending on what we choose, even if it's parallel, those things can be built on different time frames. So while you are doing this, new project, you have to keep in mind that this is new. I'll give you an example from my life. I didn't start First Form until we were 9 years into business. And at that time, at 9 years into business, we were opening stores, things were going well, money was coming in, things were going fast. And then we decide, okay, we're going to start our own brand. Well, even though those are the same things, quote unquote, or parallel things to most people, it's still a brand new project. It would be like we were starting over from zero. The good news is we weren't starting over from zero because we had all this experience, which you have as well. So the first thing I would say is you have to understand now you're playing a different game. It takes a lot longer to build a house. It takes a lot longer to go through that real estate process that you're going through than it does to broker or sell things that already exist. So it should make logical sense in your brain. This is going to take longer, and you have to accept that. Secondly, and I already know the answer to this, but on a daily basis, are you doing everything that you feel like you can do? Like, if you've been listening, we talk about winning the day. Are you winning your days?
Man, brother, my wife tells me a lot of the time, like, babe, you need to stop being so hard on yourself because I crush it every single day. I pour my heart and soul and effort into it.
That's what I thought. I thought the answer was going to be that, bro. And so just to stop you right there, that's all I needed to hear. Okay. You're doing everything you need to be doing on a day-by-day basis. All right. And we talk about this in terms of aggressive patience, right? We understand and we accept that this will take time. This is not a tech business. It's not going to be overnight, but when you take the time to build the foundation, it will be something that is unshakable later for you and your family, which is what you're looking to do. So all we can do is all we can do. And when we win our days the way that you're winning the days, to the point where your family and your friends and everybody around you is like, damn, dude, you're going hard. Yeah. you cannot stop and question yourself, what else could I be doing? You have to allow yourself that peace at the end of the day to say, man, I did it today. I did exactly what I needed to do today. And then we get up tomorrow and we do that same thing. And then we do that same thing again the next day. And we do that for as long as it takes, understanding that it is going to take time. So it's when we say aggressive patience, what we mean is we're not going to be patient, like all the other entrepreneur guru type dudes say, and just sit around with our feet up and hope that it happens. We're going to say, okay, we are going to aggressively be patient. We are going to execute day by day by day by day by day. And we are going to understand that this could take 3, 5, 7 years to really start to move. But once it starts moving, bro, it's going to be the same thing that you had at the apartments, where the momentum kicks in and you've got more shit than you can handle and things are going to work. You're just in that foundation building phase. So if I were you, how I would deal with this is I would physically track my wins, all right? So you can look back, because here's where it eats you up. It eats you up when you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know if I'm doing everything I can. If you can actually open up an app or a book, like, we got the Powerless Journal. You could use a notebook. There's a Powerless app on iTunes as well. But if you can look back and look at the days and see your data, I'm winning 98% of my days. It's really hard to feel like you're not doing what you could be doing. And so that brings that reflection back on the last 30, 60, 90, 6 months, a year, gives us a lot of peace, because then we could look at ourselves in the mirror and we could say, all right, it hasn't happened the way I want yet, but I am doing everything I can. And that's where the peace comes from that I feel like you might be looking for. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense, brother.
Okay. So instead of us looking at the biggest picture and saying, I'm only going to win when I get to here, instead look at it, did I win today? Did I win yesterday? Did I win the day before? And then you can say with perfect honesty and integrity, I'm doing everything I can. And dude, the truth of the matter is all we can do is all we can do. The problem is most people don't do that, and then they say that.
Yeah, right.
They say I'm doing everything I can,
right,
but they don't have that. They don't have the receipts to go back and say, okay, to reassure that I'm doing everything I can. So, I think you're in a great spot, brother. I really do. I think you just need to keep on keeping on and understand that, real estate does take time, especially when you're not starting with, somebody who's blessing you with $20 million investments. You know what I mean? We're using our own money. We're building relationships with the banks. We're doing these things. And that's a laborious, it's a laborious process, despite what the real estate experts say on the internet, right? It's going to take time, brother. And, you're going to get there, dude. You said you're 29?
29. Yeah, I just turned 29.
Ah, bro, you're in a good spot, bro. You're in a great spot. So,
I guess, and I got to stop watching some stupid, because I see a lot of these dumb online, 20-year-olds, living here, and I'm here freaking working with, subcontractors
brother,
out there. And, I'm like, what the heck? Am I behind? What?
No, those people make their money telling people how to do the process that you're doing, and they've never done that process. So just keep in mind, man, I've been on social media. I've been around for a long time. These people come and go. And I said this on a show recently, one of the biggest advantages that I've had in building my career, especially from the early days, is that I didn't have to look around at all the other guys pretending like they were doing shit when I was struggling. And that's an incredibly difficult challenge that we all have to face nowadays, that I didn't have to face back when I was starting out. I didn't have to open up the internet and look at everybody else and feel like I was behind. I mean, I did feel like I was behind, and I still feel like I'm behind, but that was my own standards telling me that, not everybody else's. So yeah, dude, listen, I could tell you, I've been around these fake for a long time, and dude, what you're doing is not fake. You're doing it in real life, and you're going to become so successful at it that by the time you're 40, you will be able to turn around and look at these dudes and say, hey guys, this is how you really do it. You know what I mean? And that's what I try to do. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
So, does this help you?
Man, dude, honestly, this helped a lot because, man, I've been just, and I bless my wife, man, because she has to hear a lot because I don't really have too many, not really people that understand my mindset. And my wife, she tries to keep up and she's always supporting me and like, babe, like, it's going to take some time, relax. And then I guess, Andy, for you, I know before First Form you started, was there a lot of people that doubted you? Because like, for me, it's like, Armando, like you're like making so much money being a broker. Like you are working with the ideal clients. Why would you go? And that's the same thing that happened in the Marine Corps. Like, why would you get out of the Marine? And I'm like, dude, because I crave that progression. And so I guess my question, well, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm like over.
No,
the question.
No more questions,
great.
Armando. This is terrible. Like, don't do it.
No, you're great, dude. Keep going.
Okay. I guess, did you have any people? Cause I got a lot of people in my ear that just, dude, you're just so blessed, bro. Like you got a big following, like you're making all these sales. Why would you go start a construction company in your hometown where you're next to the Mexico border? Like, why would you do that? And I'm like, because I grew up there and I want to see it. I guess, yeah. So did you have any doubters before you did First Form and you were already successful?
I have doubters today. They never go away. Okay. And those people, I'm going to look, man, those people are never going to be any more than they are right now. They're always going to be in that same spot. They're always going to be critiquing. They're always going to be doubting. And if they're not doubting you, they're going to find someone else to doubt because these people are at the peak of their existence and they pretend that they really care about us when in reality, dude, what they really care about is them not feeling stupid about what you or I or anybody that they might know actually does, because then that forces them into a conversation with themselves about what they've done or not done in their lives, which is absurd because we all choose a different life path. But that's what's happening, dude. And that happens to every single person when they start something new. I was with Dana White over the last weekend. They just started Power Slap. We were having a conversation very similar to what you're asking me. And he was like, yeah, man, like, everybody thought it was stupid. Here we are 15 events in and it's crushing.
3,000 people.
Yeah.
And
wow.
So anything that we do, they just got a TV contract with Paramount. Like anything that we do, brother, that's outside what we're already doing is always going to get critiques or doubts. And yes, I hear this all the time for myself, dude. Like people that, and by the way, some people do really care about you. Like I do hear from people that really care about me. Andy, why are you still going so hard? Why haven't you just relaxed? Why haven't you sold something or we were just talking about this on the 2 calls ago. Where, they don't, bro, you can't expect them to understand because they live in a different world, man. And how I feel about it is I don't want them to understand me because if they do understand me, it means I'm too close to them. Meaning like I haven't moved down the path far enough. And all of my real friends, like my real friends, whether they've been friends for 20 years or whether they've been friends for 2 years, the people I keep in my circle, maybe they're not on the same path all the time, but they at least push me down the path. They encourage me. They say, man, this is really cool. I understand why you do this. And as an entrepreneur, like you said, you were about to say, I don't really have a lot of friends that understand. You're never going to be understood, bro, because you're operating in a space that is reserved for legitimately, statistically 1% of the people. So if you're going down a path of 1%, it's a unreasonable expectation to expect that the 99% is going to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And you have to like keep that in mind.
There has to be peace with that.
Yeah, it's okay. Like they're not going to understand you. You really don't want them to understand you. Kobe Bryant talked about this a lot, dude. He was like, look, man, I don't want to be around them. I don't want them to understand me. I don't want to understand them. And I'm going to continue to do what I do. And that's how you produce greatness, bro. And so Yeah, brother. I just think you're going through, I know this. You're going through a normal thing, and that thing, as you level up, like let's say you become the best real, which I think you will, one of the best real estate developers where you're at. Maybe you're going to move in. The next thing you move into is, I want to build high rises. I want to build this. The same are going to come and say, Armando, are you sure you're doing really good with this? Why don't you just stay there?
You really want to do skyscrapers?
Right. Like, right,
houses.
right. And if you call the right, they're going to, like, you call me, I'm going to say, Armando, do it, bro. You got to do it. This will be awesome. And so we have to curate, what access we give certain people, because, dude, we as good people, I do take that shit to heart, man, when it comes from someone who I care about. And I very much so did when I was younger. It really hurt me when people doubted me. But now I just kind of look at them and I'll take it as fuel. You know, I'll put it up there in the fuel bank, to the massive chip I have on my shoulder. But I don't treat them poorly because of it. I don't think poorly because of it. So I kind of like accept it for what it is, but also use it. And I just keep moving, bro. And that's the game as the 1%er. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, this is powerful, brother. And you know what's crazy too, brother? Like, obviously when I gave my life to Christ, I completely started purging out a lot of stuff and, you know, just changing my ways, trying to be a better husband, because I was a, you know, big womanizer, just not a good person. But one thing that, like, I respect the content that you put out, bro, like, because there's not a lot of, I guess, how could you say, your content would be considered like, oh, this is not the content you want to listen to because it's not quote unquote, you know, clean, like, right. You know, because you say cuss words here and there, like, you know, but I kind of see past that. I see, dude, no, this guy's giving some real tangible advice that us as believers can take and utilize it. And, you know, like, because you've even said it before, it's like, God didn't call us here just to sit around and wait for us to die and go to heaven.
Right.
Like, no, he called us here to produce, to bring forth his harvest, to bring glory to his name. And, like, you know, I just respect, because I respect your content because it's a no fluff, no BS, like, just straight to the point. This is how it is. Put in the damn work. Like, you know, lace up your bootstraps and keep pushing forward. So I respect you a lot, bro. Like, yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. You know, we've all got things we can work on. You know what I'm saying? And I know I liberally use words that not everybody loves, and but that doesn't change the intention of my heart and what I want for you guys. So I really appreciate you recognizing that, because a lot of people don't. So that means a lot to me, bro.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, you know, God sees the heart, and that's what he sees. He doesn't, like, you know, he used people that were broken, that were lost, that were maybe not even the cleanest of the way they spoke, but their heart is what he looks at. And, like, I could see your heart, man, and it's a good intention. It's not like these fakers online that piss me off all the time, like, that are just trying to buy you their course or just take, you know, it's stupid, man. But I really appreciate you, brother, because you keep people like me going, and I feel like I could relate to you and DJ and Vaughn. I've been listening to Vaughn days, man. Vaughn's awesome. And,
yeah.
You know, so it's a blessing, brother, because you guys are always, I drive to Houston a lot, back and forth from Dallas, because I film a lot of projects out here too. I'm actually in Houston right now. But throughout the whole 4-hour drives, I'm just freaking playing the podcast and everything like that. So it's really motivating, brother. And yeah.
Well, hey, listen, bro, you're the reason that we do this shit, for real, man. Guys just like you, all the other guys and girls out there trying to make it through life. You know, these kind of things mean a lot to me, bro. I don't take it lightly. I really appreciate you sharing that.
Of course, brother. And I know in 10 years, bro, I already told my wife this. I told my wife, babe, watch 10 years, give me 10 years. I'm going to be on that podcast one of these days, sharing the story of how we built, you know, our construction company. And so give me 10 years, brother. I'll see you in 2035.
All right, brother.
Hopefully, Lord willing.
Yeah. I appreciate you, bro. Have a good day, man. Tell the family we said what's up.
You got it, brother. God bless you guys. Thank you, y'all.
All right. Thank you.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, bro.
That's great. It's so funny.
That's what it's about, bro.
I used to watch Nav of the Beast. Like on like, it's so crazy because I heard his voice. I'm like, man, I put like, holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, your eyes lit up whenever he said his website.
Yeah, bro. 'Cause I'm like, I
Or
know
his
that
YouTube,
dude.
yeah.
I know that dude.
Yeah, man, I think it's natural, dude. It's, you know, we all struggle with getting content. We all struggle with doing new things. We all struggle with being scared. We all struggle with doubters and haters. At the end of the day, bro, we just got to keep in mind, like, these people aren't like us. They don't think like us. They don't behave like us. They really don't have a moral standing to criticize us. Not all of them mean bad, but most of them do. And the truth of the matter is like, when you're successful and you get to a certain level, you really spend very little time, if any, even considering people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it just kind of washes the fuck out.
Yeah, I think of it like this too. It's like, bro, like, they don't see what you see.
They don't.
You know what I'm saying? Like the vision that you have in your head.
Why, okay,
they can't see it.
If you were to meet someone from China, okay, and they came up to you, they don't speak your language, they don't live like you live, they don't understand what you're doing, and they didn't really understand you, you would be like, well, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, right.
He's from China.
Yeah, right.
And that's how you got to look at these people who like are living a different life, who are criticizing the people who are building, creating, becoming the best version of themselves. And then, you know, they come to you and they say these things, and you kind of have to look at them and like, yeah, you're from China, I'm from here.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right,
and
right.
when you start to see it like that, it makes sense, right? But we all have that need and that want to have people believe in us and encourage us, and those people exist. But it's just not the people you grew up with usually, because they're not going to pick the same path. And like we talk about no man's land, you know, every time you start, you're going to start down the path. You're going to get to a point where you establish new relationships, new friendships who are going to encourage you and make you better. And then when you excel, you know, like when he goes from the military to the apartments, he lost some people, but he gained some new people. Then when he went from the apartments to what he's doing now, he lost some people, but he gained some new people. And that's how it goes. And we just have to understand, dude, like everybody's on a different path. I don't look down on anybody on how they choose to live, as long as they're trying and well, that's not true. I do look down on some people, but it's the truth. You know, if they're sitting on the couch being a fat, not doing shit, not contributing, just taking, I don't see that in a positive light.
No.
I think that's an abandoning our obligation as Americans, especially American men. But you know, they will definitely look down on us the same way, or if not worse, because like I said, we're forcing that conversation that is uncomfortable for them. And you know, maybe they shouldn't watch our shit.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
bro, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.